khabar tuan-tuan dan puan-puan? Kami ada satu segmen yang memang bagus untuk anda semua. Silalah berikan tumpuan semua kepada pentas ini sebab kami ada 10 cosplayer untuk persembahan ini.
Kuatlah sikit. Lagi sekali.
Kuatlah sikit kawan-kawan.
Okey, semua dah ready ke untuk cosplayer kita? Okey, cosplayer kita yang pertama. Berikan tepukan gemuruh kepada Jiro Kazuhika yang bermain watak sebagai Alucard.
Cosplayer seterusnya, Yuki Era yang bermemainkan Nana.
Dan cosplayer kita seterusnya, Izzat Bob ataupun bermain watak sebagai Franco.
Cosplayer seterusnya, Melina Chan yang mainkan watak Farsa.
Hello, Julian. Hello? Si Pato. Alam ba kung paano ko makakausap si Mang Fidel?
Player seterusnya, memperkenalkan King Angel yang main Kadita.
Seterusnya, berikan tepukan gemuruh kepada Daniel G yang bermain watak sebagai Hanzo.
Cosplayer seterusnya, Eliminate yang mainkan Lolita.
Dan cosplayer seterusnya, berikan tepukan gemuruh kepada Abu Dora yang bermain watak sebagai Cloud.
Seterusnya dan terakhir, Exi yang memainkan Aldous dengan skin khas M1. Wow, memanglah cantik kostum-kostum
Cantik,
mereka.
handsome semua ada kat cosplayer kita. I rasa ramai-ramai ni semua diorang sorak.
Memanglah. Tapi antara semuanya Aldous lah yang paling berkilat.
Betul tu. Berkilat ada sebab pencahayaan. Lagi satu sebab championship M1 tu.
Memang cantik sangat. Mereka memberi banyak sangat kerja ke dalam membuat segala kostum mereka. Memang accurate sangat, memang cantik dan tepat sangat.
Giveaway pun kita dah buat tadi. Performance daripada cosplayer pun kita dah buat. Show match yang pertama pun kita dah tengok. So seterusnya kita ada apa, Hound?
kita ada match terakhir kita yang akan datang nanti.
Betul tu, best of 7 untuk final EVOS Legend menentang RRQ.
Yalah, itulah cerita dia sebab kami memang excited sangat nak tengok perlawanan siapa bakal menjadi juara pada hari ini.
Siapakah juara M1 untuk yang pertama kalinya?
Pertama kali kami akan berehat seketika dan kembali dengan segala aksi-aksi hebat yang datang di M1 ini. Jangan ke mana-mana.
Ready, for how?
Candy, come back! We are here to get your rest.
Tenang. Ini klasik ya? Enggak mungkin.
Let's stay on content.
Tenang, ini masih elit ini sumpah. MM-nya ada 5. Enggak. Oh, epic ya, Grandmaster.
Sebenarnya epic.
Aku tuh kalau ada orang Ranger tuh nggak mungkin Grandmaster.
Kita tengok tahu dah.
Mati hero banget. Iya.
Mula juga semula jangan recommend ni, kita recommend. Legend tengok. Ada kacau ni.
Ni Legend.
Legend.
Sabi.
Apa tu legend? Nampak tu? Mitik. Okey, mitik.
Legend. Dah. Legend. Jangan
Mitik.
Bo, tu ni bang tak sakit. Friend list gue nih, gue tahu nih ranknya apa yang dia terakhir.
Kacau. Sumpah.
Ngobrol ke? Pagi oi lah.
Kita cuba. Okey, nama dia Bintut.
Sabi dik. IPH Lestas Mitik.
Jadi macam leceh ni. Selu.
Ini mancing ini.
Dia datang seorang tu.
Legend. Mitik kan.
Legend.
Ada dua cok.
Yes. Legend correct. Yeah. Tengoklah gameplay. Awak ni.
Tanya kisah orang mana itu.
Gameplay legend dia macam lembut. Tak dia. Nak tengok tadi gambar seorang.
Lah saja saya.
Tak betul legend.
Ken master. Udah ini siapa? Sabar orang. Pada tim yang betul 5-5-nya.
Benim düşüncem efsane lig.
Siapa?
Ini suara siapa ni? Ini suara Mitik. Enggak, ini enggak nyampe. Epic, serius epic. Masih lihat Uranus Mitik. Ini jago, Cok. Ken. Lanjut. Epic. Oke. Grandmaster juga, Grandmaster.
Mana ada Legend lah. Ni epic pun. Dulu tengok macam tu je.
Epic abang.
Terus tempat
Tak mati abang.
Okey, epic.
Kian dah. Kian mata.
Epic.
Epic confirm.
Epic.
Confirm. Epic confirm. Tapi kita
The outcome is clear. Arrow, find your target. The real warrior is here.
My fists are unflinching.
When you gaze into the abyss gazes back.
Hello. Our preparation is keep training, keep our goals to become number one, and then don't forget to eat, rest well, because if we're sick, we cannot play well, and we cannot achieve our goal. Simple. Sure, there's a lot of stronger team than us, I think. It's the Philippines. I think most stable is the EVOS ID. And maybe Japan. Japan is quite unique, I think. Our team play is quite unique, and the meta as well, because mostly we create the meta, then the rest just keep, keep blah blah blah, following us or copying us. Like, it's quite impressive, but yeah. A is our unique meta and playstyle.
Lahat naman patay.
And welcome everybody to the grand finals of the M1 World Championship 2019. It has all come to this, and one of these teams will be walking away with the crown to be glorified as the first ever world champion in Mobile Legends. My name is Contra, and this is Gideon Q, having the honors to cast the very final series of best of 7.
It's been a great build-up to this final moment for an all-Indonesian bout. They played against each other in the upper bracket once. Again, they are back here today for the grand finals.
And of course, we have looked forward for this, and we saw Todak, of course, trying to actually fight their way through, but RRQ proved to be one of the best out there as they stopped the Malaysian favorites, settling for 3rd place. Now, other ways, it's still going to be that crown headed back towards the home soil of Indonesia, but it's either between EVOS Legends as well as RRQ Kion. Both very formidable sides. So let's check out the brackets and see how the journeys have been edged throughout this entirety of the tournament run.
Yeah, it's been an entire roller coaster from beginning to end. RRQ going all the way, defeating Todak, pushing them down to the lower bracket, moving on to meet up against EVOS Legends, who took down Burmese Schools to meet them in the upper brackets. A 3-0 clean sweep by EVOS Legends, pushing RRQ down just so that they can take out the Malaysian home soil representatives to meet them back in the finals. It's been a long journey so far, but now it has come down to this.
They have definitely been familiar with their opponents here as they faced off in the MPL Indonesia, and now in the greatest stage. They are proving that Indonesian teams are amongst the best of the best in Mobile Legends. They are the greatest metas. They were the ones actually pushing this game forward to the next level. Now, they have to display their best, and EVOS Legends have been staying on the upper brackets for a long time. We saw that journey take out Burmese Schools and, of course, RRQ, and they sent RRQ to face off against Soda for the 2nd time coming, and they were no match in that sort of sense. And the rest of the team, of course, had the great journey, but one of that sort of Cinderella story that we definitely want to highlight is how Todak, against all odds, they did climb all the way to 3rd place, proving themselves to be worthy of that podium finish.
Yeah, and now, I mean, it's going to be a tough game for both RRQ as well as EVOS Legends. It wasn't like that 3-0 in the upper brackets was like an easy game for EVOS Legends. Maybe one of the games, but for the most part, it was a struggle. It did come down to a lot of 50-50s, and I think RRQ, they've mixed up the lineup here and there every single time to see what works best, and I think with their lineup currently where they played against Todak, they were looking pretty clean.
And I definitely would say that it was so much of that sort of surprises coming in from Todak's very interesting draft, where it kind of emulates what 10 Seconds Gaming have brought to the table for their final game. But of course, execution was nearly perfect. But RRQ here has definitely shown that they have been able to actually match up on whatever that was thrown against them. And now it's time to actually find out a little bit more on how RRQ is feeling. We're going to be having an interview coming up shortly, and boy, they might just be our next champions right here.
Yeah, and again, these guys have met each other time and time again. They are rivals. Let's have a look at this video.
Here comes RRQ Kion with their entry, as we see this formidable Indonesian side come in swinging up hot. As much as they might have gone into its lower bracket for a very short while, they just managed to took it down their opponents with a windfall, and they have definitely brought out some interesting strategies, switching things up, and every single one of their players are so flexible to just switch pawn roles.
Exactly, and I think that makes them impeccable in terms of skill level, extremely difficult to deal with overall. all, and I think EVOS Legends have a formidable opponent again to take on.
And this definitely will be a tough challenge. EVOS Legends have defeated them and placing them second. They have been brought down again right here on the upper bracket. Now they are not settling for that second place no longer. EVOS Legends, of course, now they have not lost much of that sort of the series. As we saw a pretty much clean trio the last time they met.
Yeah, and I think that might change a little bit because I think RRQ is ready to take them on. But the competitors, EVOS, so far haven't been dropping too many games. I think the only people who've really, taken them on was 10 Second Gaming, taking one game away. But for the most part, they've just been dominating the upper bracket.
Yeah, and I could say that the domination is really apparent as we saw players like Reg really getting so ahead of their enemies. It's not even funny. And these are what legends are made of.
Yeah.
Well, EVOS aside, we could say that they are almost having the same sort of way of play of RRQ, but they are a whole lot more stable.
Exactly, and they are ready to take them on. Let's have a look at them here. Look at these boys representing Indonesia. It's going to be EVOS Legends coming up onto the stage.
The biggest winners will still be Indonesia, but EVOS Legends will never settle for second. Look at how many fans have rallied upon bringing all these drums. They are setting the war cry for their heroes on stage. If they were the champions of Indonesia, they will prove to be defending that title in the biggest of them all. This F1 World Championship, they have waited for this the entirety of the year. They've break the curse, and they have always been on second place. And after breaking that, I think there's nothing else that they cannot conquer.
Yeah, nothing's going to stop them now. These boys are ready to take the World Championship on, and they have definitely proven themselves to be one of the most formidable teams to potentially take the crown.
Well, we're seeing all the glory, the goal right in between the stage, and either one of them will be cleaning them after this best of 7. Well, this is the very first time that we're having a best of 7 here, ever being played out in the history of Mobile Legends. And it's just only fitting in M1. There's Vincent, Lemon, Liam, as well as Tour to make up Rex, Regium, Keon. And Rex, Regium, Keon, we talked about so many of all that sort of shift where Lemon, of course, switched things up alongside with Tour as well. I'm Jacob and will now be sitting on the bench for the meanwhile. You know, best of 5's already so tiring, and this is where RRQ might just have that sort of a power sub coming in with Jago.
I think, adding Lemon in now definitely kind of changes up the team dynamic. I think, the playstyle definitely affects how the team kind of moves around the map. The calls that are being made, the information being collected, coming down to the decision making, it's going to help because, again, it's one of those things where you follow patterns. If you're used to one particular playstyle, how they make decisions, you can punish those patterns. But with Lemon now in the lineup, that might change up a little bit more, especially when he wants to take his revenge against EVOS Legends.
EVOS Legends have taken them down the other time, and of course it wasn't really all too easy for them. The last time back in the championship in their home country, it was a 3-1 victory, where in that 4th match it was really down to the wire where we saw RRQ defending for their lives. But now they want to reclaim, they really want to prove the doubters wrong, because back in Indonesia all the EVOS fans of course, are still pretty much clad in blue, trying to actually claim that this trophy will still belong to them. Well, they've definitely won a lot of silverware, but RRQ, of course, is looking a lot more hungry than they used to.
Yeah, they definitely do, and I think they have a lot of motivation coming into this game. Here is the lineup of EVOS Legends. It's going to be Luminaire, Donkey, Rect, Aura, and Juan. The lineup has not changed so far, and these boys are looking so strong coming into this playoff.
Well, we talk about all these tanks that are in the tournament. Donkey has been one of that sort of player that has proved himself to be one of the best. And of course, EVOS Legends will possibly face off yet another Titan on the other side, where we talked about Lemon, who also has been playing on his perfect form. Same goes to Churu as well. But there's so many of all these other characters. I'm looking forward to see what Rek as well as Sin will be playing in this sort of series.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the draft, actually, because both sides kind of know how each other play, kind of know how they've kind of adapted to the game. So the question is, who is more prepared coming into this playoffs? And I think what's great for EVOS Legends being in the upper brackets, they get to watch more games of RRQ play this out. But speaking of RRQ, looks like they have some words to say. Let's have a look.
Just keep training, keep our goals to become number one, and then don't forget to eat, rest well, because if we're sick, we cannot play well, and we cannot achieve our goal. Simple. Sure, there's a lot of stronger team than us, I think. So Philippines, I think most stable is EVOS ID. And maybe Japan. Japan is quite unique, I think. Our team play is quite unique, and the meta as well, because mostly we create the meta, then the rest just keep, you know lah, keep blah blah blah, following us or copying us. Like it's quite impressive, but yeah. Maybe I will confidently say it's our unique meta and playstyle.
Creating the pathway for everyone else to follow. RRQ will set those standards to be the best, and everyone else could just say blah blah blah.
Quote. Can we please have a quote right there? Just slap that up, because these guys are the meta setters, and I think honestly they are absolutely right. They are the meta setters, and a lot of people look for their initiative to know where they want to be. And here are the RRQ fans screaming for their lungs, showing their support for their country and their team.
We see so many of all these guys clad in black and yellow in that sort of sense. Well, you know, the Blade Tigers also have somewhat support that in that sort of sense, where they say, hey, we got something pretty similar. But again, speaking of Tigers, EVOS Legends right there, of course, Juan and blue. They are, of course, part of the colors of the flag as well. Of course, are we truly trying in Indonesia and Malaysia? Of course, trying to draw that away for a little more. But EVOS Legends here,
yeah.
They are in the best shape ever. We saw that sort of roster shift earlier this year, where there's so many of all that changes, with even some of their best players like Jess No Limit stepping down for new bloods to come right in, and that decision has led to so much more silverware going into the hands of EVOS.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure somebody has a drum back there. It is blaring loud, and here are the fans. It's gonna be EVOS Legend fans. They literally have a drum, a full setup there. How did they set that up? I have no idea.
I'm not too sure. You gotta ask their manager in a little bit, but wow, that's effort. Imagine flying those drums through Indonesia into Malaysia, and now let the drums roll for our very first match here as we see a cloud being banned away. Interesting options as we also have that Kufra on the lockdown. Now heading in towards our second ban for RRQ.
Very interesting opener here. They get rid of both Selena as well as Claude. You definitely see a huge change of face when it comes down to RRQ versus EVOS Legends, because in the previous matchup, RRQ didn't even want to touch Claude or even the Selena in their bands.
Now, I'm not too sure why exactly they did this, but what I do think is that RRQ is just leaving more options right here. They don't really need to actually eliminate so many of these marksmen, because you know there's always going to be a Granger. There's going to be that Kimmy as well. Same goes to Carry. So this is definitely going to be shaping out how all these sort of things could possibly go for game number 1.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but a lot of the safe picks have been taken out. Harith going to be a strong lock-in for RRQ, but this kind of opens them up to give some quality picks over to EVOS Legends, who probably, for a fact, don't really want to open up with something that's too narrow. They want to open up the draft a little bit more, save themselves for counter picks, look for those flex picks, but instead, I think they've just kind of revealed, hey, we have options, but for now, know that we can split push.
Wow. They've set this one up. I talk about the bans to actually open up options here, and that Howard is one pick that has been sought after by both teams. Now, Valor as well as the Hylas is going to be completing their first phase for EVOS Legends. Let's talk through this, because we know Valor has been really vital in most of all these series that we saw, game after game, from the group stages all the way to playoffs.
Yep.
This is the reliable burst pitch that they needed.
Yeah, and more importantly, Valir creates space for the team. And I think that's like a really underrated part of Valir. Like, yes, he does damage, but if he's able to kind of keep you at a distance with those flame balls, it can be very frustrating, because now it's really difficult for EVOS to say, yes, I want to lock in the box here to deal with the high loss, and maybe even, you know, Harith when he gets that concentrated energy, but it's like, when you see Valir, your Boxia might not be able to get in and put down that turquoise puissance all over the map.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult if they really don't get that being banned away. But now Kimmy is the one being removed, because they've already got, in a way, a mage or marksman of sense. But Lilia, let's talk about this Lilia here, because we've seen a whole lot more Lilia ever since 10 Seconds Gaming Plus have been picking it a lot. And also, we also see RRQ alongside with EVOS, who are really familiar with the Dark Mage.
Yeah, and again, I think Lilia, you know, a large rising star, realizing that, you know, Lilia can actually do quite a lot more, even though you are required to have a certain skill level to land Gloom most of the time and set up those chain reactions to get some maximum damage. It is a very effective pick when you need to get out of, like, tight situations. Oh, you're locked down, just press the black shoes. Oh, you're out of shadow balls, just press the black shoes, and you'll just get a huge replay of it every single time. And I think, you know, group stages, Lilia barely appeared. Maybe once, maybe twice, but now she's become a very prominent pick.
A really prominent one indeed. And you can even pair things like a Purify to make sure you have a little bit more stability if you were ever to be caught out. And now, looking into its EVOS Legends lineup, this is a hyper-scaling sort of composition that they are having. Lolita 4th pick for EVOS Legends.
Oh, very early Lolita pick here. I think they want to wait to kind of like a point and click, make sure if Harith decides to go in and is out of position, you can lock him down with the charge. Even for a split second, that should give enough time for the rest of the team to collapse on him. RRQ, they kind of have to set up around the Lolita. Now that they know it, it's like, oh, you know, if I want to force out a Chang'e, not going to be too great. Granger, his Death Sonata can be blocked by the shield, but, you know, it's not like the hardest counter in the world.
Yeah, I certainly would say that there's still many ways to actually counter that in that sort of sense. And of course, back towards the side of EVOS Legends here, there's a couple more options on the table. If they really want to go for a marksman, then yeah, that's still the carry right outside. And if they want to go for a little bit of that double mage composition, you know, Chang'e has been always appearing in that sort of battle, especially on Todak's side way early on.
That's true, and they did take a game because of it against RRQ. I don't know if EVOS Legends want to take the same route. Zayas is kind of giving, the coach for EVOS Legends is kind of thinking about it, like, what do they go for? Ooh!
Whoa!
It's time! And I've talked about this previously, like in the group stages. I joked about it, like, why don't people bring Zas? Like, Zas is great. Zas can do has a lot of options, is super, super annoying. And I think now is the time to bring it out. Very bold for EVOS Legends. I want to see how they play Zas.
I want to see how they actually control the tempo, especially when you know Zas is somewhere towards the mid game where he will start to ramp up. And if you really want to go for those split pushes, he can also hold on for those pushes as much as he wants. And wow, pleasant surprise. We never thought that they would actually bring it in, especially in the grand final stages.
Yeah, it's extremely bold here. And I think they're setting... I'm pretty sure they're setting up We Will Rock You right in the back there. Oh, man.
Tutu versus Reckless.
Yes!
Let's see that happen.
Yes, I love it. The fans are ecstatic. They're ready to go at it. And now, as the teams get ready to load into the game, hopefully they are ready to bring out something new. I mean, the Zosk is looking pretty good. I want to see how that plays out. I'm not sure who exactly is playing on it, but that will kind of give us an idea whether he's going to be in that support role or he's going to be that, you know, hard mage, hard carry role.
Yeah, and it will be amazing to see players like Tsuru actually pulling that one out, because we've never really seen him go in for that pick all too often either. Now, that Zas will be protected by the Lolita, so it's really hard to actually get anywhere close to him either ways. So how does RRQ actually find a way to work around this? Because they do have the Cho,
yeah,
but they have to get past so many of these frontliners from EVOS Legends.
That's true. It's going to be tough because now that you have the Grok, you have Lolita, you have options to kind of disengage from bad fights. And I think that's really, both teams want to go front to front. And that's why they have the Valir to make sure it's a front to front. You go into our backline like, nah, I'm going to push you away. With the options like Grok, I think that's going to change a little bit more, and it sounds like the games are getting really pretty hyped here.
We're not the only ones pumped up. All the casters that are joining alongside with us. We have the Indonesians as well, the Malaysian casters here. Of course, KKP's up alongside with us. It's time for us to head in towards our very first game. Before that, let's introduce them once more. Our RQ side will feel Sin, Liam, Lemon, Tutur, as well as Vin.
But don't forget about EVOS Legends. Is going to be Donkey, arguably one of the best players there to kind of stop this lineup here. I want to see him pop off because, again, time and time again, this one man single-handedly hands games over to his team, making the carry roles look so easy to play.
Yeah, and I gotta say that there's so much more than just that. Well, Sin, as well as all these guys from EVOS Legends, there will be bloodshed, there will be tears after all these series that we have concluded. Now, it's time for our very first ever best of 7, and now it's game 1 showtime.
Let's see how they want to play this out. Looks like Lemon is going on to that fighter role, as you can see with the high and dry. That gives you a lot of info. Ooh, he's going to get chunked out and punished here. He's already down to 50% HP. As the rest of the top side, they sent 3 members top side. I'm pretty sure somebody has an arrival to catch that bottom wave. Looks like Masha is kind of hanging around Gargoyle side. Interesting play coming in from EVOS Legends just to ensure that they steal away this buff.
Well, EVOS Legends here with some aggressive attempts. Same goes to RRQ. 3 members versus 2. Donkey's gonna swing his arms around. Doesn't really do all too much damage towards Liam and Sid though, as they will slowly regroup for another push. But the proxy is not over yet, as we see EVOS Legends here being pretty much greedy on approach. Takes on the second wave as well as the Rivercraft at the same time. So, of course, Zas is going to be having a really good time up there pulling that show.
Yeah, I think this is really smart. Oh, wait, no, Lemon's in trouble. He's going down. First blood going over to EVOS Legends. Arrival coming in from Liam. He's trying to make a difference, bring a punishment. I think he's going to go down here. Here, giving another kill over to EVOS Legends. The channel took a little too long.
absolute domination in the early phase. Then this proves to be a little bit way too much. It's just a melee matchup, and now they're walking to a trap once again. Lemon watching things go down, and Luminaire already zoning him out, but Lemon needs to actually find a response or give this first turret to EVOS Legends.
Yep, they're using Zask as a siege mechanic. Juan is kind of walking around, helping him siege. Like, if somebody walks up, they get chunked out very, very hard by Gloom, and the early game from Lilia and the range that she provides is just so effective. Let's see how they... I want to see what RRQ is going to do in response, because EVOS Legends just denied them. They denied them the invade. They denied them getting their buffs. What can they do at this point of time?
Well, there's so much to be done here, and I think that they really want to force some objectives instead. They can give one turret up, but they could not afford to lose this turtle. Here comes Winter Dragon going on to Donkey. Salmon Force Bay popped out as well. Juan dancing around Liam. Liam, oh my goodness. Donkey will be able to survive, but Liam instead caught on his foot, and that will be one more being drawn out. EVOS Legends, and they are just crushing it.
That was a great save. Now they're doing the zone control. Sin's in trouble. Can he get out? No, he cannot. The Luminar Blast with the flicker ensures his death. Vin, he can't really do too much. Luminaire is just walking in his face. What you gonna do, boy? As the rest of the team slowly peels backwards. Luminaire has to now go down, but the Death Sonata's coming through. All three left. Tuturu doesn't miss the shot.
That was a perfect Death Sonata. Here comes Winter Dragon as well. Righteous Pathway has already been opened up. Liam's gonna go in for a charge as well. And this is an extended fight that we're seeing as the tour goes on a triple threat.
Strong play, but notice that Masha on the bottom side of the map is holding her ground, and she's getting quite a lot of pressure here. Liam quickly using the arrival to get on top of Aura. Aura is just too weak as of yet to take him on 1v1. Forcing out the flicker. Liam continuing the chase. He's a little low, but Lolita should be able to pick him up. Aura, he sees the opportunity. He pops his passive, activates it, gets the second bar, and kills him in response.
Perfect baiting coming in from EVOS, and now Luminaire trying to actually chunk up some health. Here comes Lemon with the way of the dragon, pushing him all the way towards the turret range. But Luminaire here still surviving. Here goes the cavalry have just arrived, and now the task will be on now pushing steroids. And RRQ, they are just slowly bleeding in this 5-4.
That was so well done. I mean, holy cow, I think Aura literally just saved the Lolita. But wait, hold on. Sin might be in a little bit of trouble here. He has to send boys back out. Aura gets right on top of him. You took a little too much damage. You're in my kill zone.
That was absolutely beautiful. Didn't really see that wall charge connecting to a setup for the Chow. And that's 7 kills in the back already for EVOS Legends. And of course, if you haven't already shared this stream, go ahead and share all the love, because this Grand Finals is going to take some time to complete. Now, of course, all thanks to you, Mobile, for providing us some great stuff. Let's have a look into some of these potential item builds for these teams.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. I mean, both sides are holding on to their ground nicely. There is a three kill deficit coming in from RRQ, but they're not too far behind. They've been farming very efficiently. Windtalker just been farmed, and now they're contesting for the turtle. Sid, there's Pathway in the back line. Liam is making something happen here. Turtle has been slain, and the rest of the team has to pull back. There is no reason for them to go any further. Numenor Blast being held up. Wreck is in trouble. Oh, he's going down. Liam is going to be the first to go as the rest of the team in the back line. And Sid is trying to make it all work together. But what goes back with the black shoe? With the black shoes. She's going to be okay.
Luminaire missing out the huge element right there, trying to actually head in towards that pit, but not really clipping onto any members of Rex, Ricky, and Kian. But they did catch out Liam in that sort of sense for a 1-2-1. But here comes another dive, trying to actually secure the tower, and Levin's going to make a move first. And look at Sid, he's just dashing around with the chrono, and one will catch out that kill. Lemon down on the ground now. It's all up to Sid, but Sid, can he take it all up? Donkey's here with the wall charge, and this is a goner for Sid.
Yes,
but he's still hanging on.
Landed. He's got to stick it. Yes, he sticks the ability, uses the black shoes just to ensure his death, just in case he misses in that sense. But they lose topside in response. EVOS Legends 2K gold lead ahead. But RRQ very close behind.
Now we're looking at Luminaire here, trying to actually reset a little bit of that tempo. Donkey just opting to spot out that buff with an attempt to steal it away. And EVOS now having that sort of a 2K goal lead. And usually at this point, if you are giving away 5 kills, most of the teams will be having a huge downer in terms of goal, but not for RRQ though. They're still hanging on, and Lemon here will be sacrificed with Donkey knocking him in on the air.
Yeah, these small catches are really helping EVOS get their split push game on lock because Zask puts so much pressure on the map, especially when he can do it at a safe distance. Not to mention that his ultimate putting down a super turret and going inside of it to kind of dodge these bigger abilities can be so frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, and they just get completely zoned out in that sort of sense that they can't really split push effectively. They can't really commit to a team fight as well. So Rex Kyung here is in trouble once more. Sin, after that, actually take out this 1 versus 2, and those dashes won't be able to save him all too long. The Manal will be missing out, and there's no more turrets for him to hide, but here comes Liam though.
Yeah, the angle wasn't there yet. Liam as well as Luminaire, not really too exciting for both of them. They kind of understand, like, we're just having a tickle fest here. Let's go back into our own respective zones. They want to keep control over the area here, but I think EVOS Legends, their composition just does it so much better. RRQ are kind of in this position where, you know, Lemon either has to make a play or Sin just has to dodge more abilities that EVOS can kind of duck under.
Well, I would say that there's no places to actually duck safely in that sense. But now, over the top side, what do we have here? Where Dragon onto Aura. Flicker has been popped as well. And here comes some damage to Nana from Tsuru. Just not finishing up, but Chao will be the first one being slain in that skirmish. Liam right here holding on towards the mid lane. Knows that he can still go on lockdown against Luminaire, but not for long. Finn instead getting burst out. Whoa, look at that go. Well, one just scaling upwards. Luminaire almost catch him out.
Very, very close here, but Sin gets a good push, breaks the tier 2. However, he's losing on the tier 2 mid side, which is arguably more valuable as they will have control over the jungle and have more feasible pathways now that all the tier 2s are basically destroyed.
Well, I gotta just reiterate, 5 turrets in the span of less than 9 minutes. This is definitely a real good run for them in terms of a push. Liam already setting up with the pathway. I would say that is pretty much unnecessary. Well, he popped it prematurely, and now there's the Lord coming up pretty much soon. And mid, they're not really in this position to fight at all.
Exactly, and I think EVOS Legends are playing to their win conditions. They just need a zone control. RRQ have no real way of engaging except for either Sin or maybe even Lemon. This front to front is not looking as good as it initially thought. Lemon kicks away Luminaire, making sure he doesn't get on top of Vin. Vin can only do so much to zone control, but he's getting outranged by this Zask that it's becoming difficult for the team to walk up.
Well, we're seeing a split push coming out from the side of RRQ, knowing that they will have to give this one away to EVOS Legends. Now, there's going to be a lot of plays being fought out, and Tsuru here will be shredding Donkey to 60%. This is all being done by only one marksman. Imagine that 5-man effort will be able to actually take down Donkey, but that's a little bit too much of an overkill onto one tank. But the goal first still swinging in the favor of EVOS Legends.
Oh, looks like Aura's committing into this. They're going quite far out, but Min is going to disengage, completely lock him off. But the problem is that they're losing position over the mid lane. They got pushed out of it, allowing EVOS Legends to keep control over this top side of the map, especially since they took Lord. This could be a little unforgiving.
Well, I'm not too sure whether or not will Rex can stop that Lord in time. There already is disaster alongside with the accompaniment of Rock to actually get a little bit of that push. But here comes Wader Dragon onto Luminaire. That's going to be pretty much a dead Lolita if they don't flicker away. And he just bought a little bit more seconds here. Sin instead forcing another one coming out from inside of Aura.
This is so good for EVOS Legends because Masha is just buying time. She could die here and she doesn't really care. She just needs to hold on until Sin can't really do much as the rest of RRQ has to defend this inhibitor. He has to go for the recall as EVOS Legends are going to break this is the Numenon Blast, as well as Zos just zone controlling. They can't do much here. There's nothing they can do. And now Lord has been walking over to the second inhibitor.
They needed Sin, and where exactly is he? He's going in for a flank in and out. Little side of RRQ will commence to Sin. Luminaire gets kicked it all in the back, but he bought enough time. And RRQ now have to find a way. And Vlad goes in for the first and Sin. It's a huge killing spree for EVOS Legends. One right there.
Oh, that was such a good duel. Juan coming up on top, buys the Genius one. 300 IQ there, but he set that up perfectly. He was kind of baiting out the Chrono Dash because he knows that it has a very short cooldown, but that is a window to allow Gloom to get on top of him, getting popped for 1.2k damage just with a Shadow Ball, and Gloom eating it and exploding. My God!
That was just the Shadow Ball. It's not even the full combo. Hi, look at this. 5-1 on that Lilia that we just talked about, and it's just so scary here, judging for the fact that Donkey could also soak in so much of that output coming from Finn as well as Sin. And here comes that kick that will connect, and there goes one. They picked up for that mega kill, killing spree for the Zas, and now there's gonna be a little bit of that reset. Next Lord coming out in 70 seconds.
This Sask is absolutely a beast. Like, he puts down the turret. There's multiple uses for it. It can block a lot of the damage coming in, especially from that Death Sonata. And that Rhapsody can't exactly go through it either. He can go inside of the turret, protect himself, go back out to dodge abilities, but he's still gonna have full health. Like, the only way for RRQ to kind of get ahead, or at least win the fight, is like how they did it just now, where they got Sin in the back line and pops the Salmon Force.
That's a rare occasion that you can actually pick him off. And of course, you also have to make sure that Luminaire does not disrupt that in that sort of sense, because that Numenon Blast being missed out gave a little bit more room for RRQ to react.
Yeah, and I think RRQ just need to figure out a way to get to the backline. Sin has a lot of work, and the same goes for Lemon. They have to make sure that they somehow find an angle to get in on them. EVOS Legends not going to let that happen here. It's coming very close to the later stages of the game. 5 more seconds until Lord comes back up. But again, EVOS just going to play to their own game, keep control over the map, make sure the waves is in their favor, and then just completely lock them out at choke points.
Well, that choke point is definitely coming into effect here as EVOS Legends are already trying to actually disturb the Lord, but that will only be a bait. And now we're looking at Lemon here, trying to set things up. Now he does have immortality, and now Leo being caught in between. He forces out that righteous pathway as well. Now Sin, so actually taking a little bit more peek as the rest of all these players are just going on that defensive mode. They cannot afford any sort of mistakes at all right here.
Exactly, and now, I mean, even though the glorious pathway has been popped, it's still going to be fine. The rest of the team is going through. Lemon's in trouble. He's taking quite a bit of damage. Aura is right on top of him. Luminaire wheels backwards slowly. Great zone control coming in from Breck. Very close to the end. Lemon still going to go down. Lemon for Masha seems pretty worth it. Now Sid trying to make a play on the backside here. Juan needs to get him out before he dies, but the black shoes is going to be enough to get him back up to health. Sid trying to make the play. He doesn't. He gets the Lilia, and now RRQ have found the opening that they've been waiting for. It's going to be a 3-for-1 trade.
This definitely will be the greatest of comeback if they can actually turn this game around with this Lord already for taking. But here comes Luminaire. What can the Lilia do as we see all three members crashing upon that mage as well as the tank? And here goes Flicker coming from the side of Luminaire, and it will be finished off by Valir.
Yep, Ice Queen Juan just being purchased by the Valir. He's going to make sure not only is he going to push you away, he's going to slow you down to allow the rest of RRQ to kind of chase them down. But now Donkey's in a little bit of trouble, takes a full hit of the Rhapsody. He should be going down here. Immortality is going to get popped, but that's not going to be enough. RRQ want to keep control over this. The fans are extremely happy, but remember, the death timers are still not too long.
Of course, there's many things to be happy about here, because Tsuru, of course, finding so much of a grip in this game, and he's the hyper carry that everyone sought after as they managed to take down one of the best tanks in the world, Donkey. And for the first time, we saw that Grok fell as he already got so beefy, and that was definitely a torn in the flesh for them for the longest of time. But RRQ, now, they've already set up the the double push. Top side, bottom side will push natural with the Lord. And now they're giving this one away. EVOS Legends have to defend.
Yep, they know that they've kind of messed up that 50-50 earlier, and they have to just kind of let them take as many objectives as they want, because really they just want to survive and start another fight later on. Lord is walking through. Luminous Lord is going to be breaking into that inhibitor here.
Oh, here comes Chrono Dash is coming from Sin as well. Down force being popped up, and Luminaire getting a little bit of that damage being soaked, but there will be all the elder members ready for a fight coming from EVOS Legends. They're holding on towards the mid lane turret, will not let this one slip away, and the highlights trying to actually set things up. Oh, great movements coming from across, and there's just that sort of wall being created here. Donkey always on the front line, making sure that everything stays safe. Lemon taking a little bit of peek, and now even the bottom side have nothing for Rexware and Keon to actually seek advantage of. Lemon goes in though.
Luminaire, he's in trouble. He's taking quite a bit of damage. Sin right in the front line, but the rest of the team is holding on very, very well. Look at this. Rex is making sure that they can't really move forward. The waves are being cleared a little too fast, and Zas is holding on his own. Earlier, he was able to defend from Lord because of his annoying little mini turrets that he puts up to kind of protect it. It gives Lord a secondary target to hit, and he doesn't get the charge off.
Well, that charge definitely is going to be pretty important, but look at this. I would say that EVOS Legends could still hang on for the longest of time because of this sort of pickup. Well, Zas, you talk about him being one of the greatest pushers of the game, and well, he could also be great work in towards defending the entirety of the base as well. How much time has he bought for the team? Now, even the kills doesn't really matter too much as Rex Freedom Keon has already breaking that sort of a lead back into his favor.
Yeah, what's really, I mean, the Nightmare spawns are doing such a good job. Oh, Donkey might be taking quite a bit of damage here, but I think he's just really, really tanky for the most part. He uses the wild charge to kind of create some space, and now Juan should be there to protect, giving him a safe passage back to base. It's now even 55 to 53. RRQ finally have found the lead, but it's so late into the game, the goal doesn't really matter at this point, but they have at least come back from a huge goal deficit previously.
Well, a lot of all these wings have been bought by both sides of the party. Well, I'm just looking to see if members of EVOS Legends could even get anywhere close to taking down Tetsuru. Well, he does not buy Immortality yet, but he does have a full set of equipment coming up online. Look at the amount of damage on those minions. And, well, 15 more seconds, and we just see that EVOS Legends want to find a way to get into the lore.
Yeah, Liam taking quite a bit of damage here from the Nightmare spawn. The rest of the team is kind of just making sure they maintain the waves as much as they can. Ooh, a big arrival use. I kind of feel like they could have set it up for something else, like maybe even, you know, collecting mid lane with the arrival to kind of buy some time and maybe look to destroy it. They're going to clear the waves. Lord is on the bottom side of the map. Masha is going to go for a slight split push here. If EVOS Legends can kind of hold their ground and buy some time for Masha to get some pressure, they might be able to force RRQ off of Lord.
Well, I would say that they have to try no matter what, and that split is going to be commencing really shortly, but Masha will be stopped on his tracks with that challenge for the top side, but suppression coming in. Here comes the rest of pathway over on the Sin as well, but yeah, I think this is going to be that
the Nightmare spawn.
too much.
So close, so close. Wait, what's happening on the bottom, top side of the map? Leo Lemon is in trouble. Gora has scaled super, super well, and he should be able to pick this kill up. This is a huge kill for EVOS Legends, because now they have top side control. They can look to pick up Lord, or maybe look to end the game as they are trying to pick up Liam as well. They've locked him out. Donkey, his barrier is so good. Sin, he's turning around. He got hit by the Numenor blast. Sin goes down. Immortality should be popping back up, but that lockdown is just too much. EVOS Legends looking to end the game through top side, and the next pushing wave is coming in.
The one who set the temple was Ara, and now they're trying to break through the top side here. Only down to Tsuru, and he will be able to actually hold on for a little bit longer. Ara trying to escort this bit of wave, and Donkey soaking that damage to be taken down, but he does have Immortality as well as Wall Charge to escape, but not for Luminaire though. They have to sacrifice him for Tetsuru's sake of a takedown.
This is unfortunate. They aren't able to actually take down the crystal this time round. RRQ still have scaled very very, very well. But Lord just has been taken away. Oh no, this is some bad timing. They're all dying at the wrong time. Aura is in trouble. He needs to get on there. The Nightmare Spot isn't able to help him out. Dutaru is not gonna let him walk away scot-free. This game is gonna be extended because Lord should be taken out easily by RRQ now. Look at those death timers.
And all those death timers is all thanks to Dutaru, all putting them down in those fights. And every single one who came close had to fall with Finn now getting taken down. That was nasty.
That was really nasty. Yikes. Ouch. Oof. I mean, it's a feels bad moment, but what can you really do? Topside, Harith is kind of escorting the Lord into their favor, like, hey, don't worry, you're not going to be able to push any further from here. But the rest of EVOS Legends now respawning are looking to keep some control over the other two lanes, both mid and bottom, to hopefully maybe snag a kill here. Lemon is getting pretty low. Dutaru takes a little bit of damage, but he should be able to heal up with no issues.
All thanks to Dutaru. They managed to buy enough time to actually take out the Lord, take out all the other members. Oh my, Liam, really bad position. This might just be that opening for EVOS Legends, and that will set him apart. And the barrier might just be the downfall of Liam right here. Here comes the Righteous Pathway. He survives.
Oh my goodness, all the abilities expanded to try and take him up, and he still lives. My goodness, Hylos, could you just go down, please, says EVOS Legends. But RRQ, now, because of that, they have a little bit more pressure to use, and maybe an option to kind of push them off. But EVOS Legends using that Nightmare Spot super effectively. They need to hopefully break this mid-tier 3. Oh wait, no, Sid in the backline. He found a backline attack. He takes him out. Oh no, Sasuke's down. They're continuing their push. Lillian gets a kill onto Sid, and now the fight begins to continue as Luminaire taking quite a bit of damage, flickers backwards. Donkey going back into the safety of his team. Masha on the bottom side of the map, still getting a really good push, but now Lemon has to go occupy top side so that they don't push into the center. Aura's in trouble. He walks away. Liam is locked down. Can he please go down? Oh my goodness, he finally does. And now Dutaru has to deal with Donkey in his face.
Wow. After all that, it's only 2 members of RRQ falling flat. But they were just looking to take down Rek because Rek was the one that caused so much nuisance. And with him around, Zaz could easily just take down that inhibitor on the mid lane. Now, this is still another second go for EVOS Legends, but it's only the tanks and fighters to possibly split things up for now. Aura, I think this is definitely one of his greatest time for redemption here. We see him from the start being one of the OG members of EVOS Legends. And now it's time for him to be crafted in with his name written on that trophy to be known as the best of Mobile Legends.
You know, the worst part about this is that this is only game 1. There's still so much to come in this best of 7, but they're already putting a lot on the line here for both teams. Expect this best of 7 to be just as long.
Yeah, and every single game counts. Like, you can't come in with a mentality that, hey, if I drop a series, I still got a few more games to go. So, first, EVOS, they usually will not even give that sort of advantage. Like, they really want to finish off that start of the game, at least get that momentum on track. But Liam, you talk about Liam here being pretty much indestructible. He has already built that immortality as well. So I don't think that any members of EVOS Legends wants to get anywhere to actually expend all these utilities onto that tank.
Agreed. Now, you know, topside is always going to be pushed in, and I think that's kind of a given because the inhibitor is gone. I think Aura just... I'm not sure who bought the blade of despair, but I'm pretty sure it was Aura. It looked like Luminaire for a second, but yeah, Lauren is being held control by EVOS, and I think RRQ is going to wrestle for it back.
Looking at Luminaire, possibly just tickling onto Liam, but there's still a little bit of that push over the bottom side. The Sprout's going to handle it in time, but now RRQ off to snatch this one away, and there is already a setup being done by Rek as he's exposing himself for a little bit more. All these potions being popped, and here comes a little bit of movement coming from the side of Sid. He's getting suppressed right under the noses here, but here comes Leo with a Righteous Pathway being opened up, and EVOS Legends, they have to fall back to Turu in the greatest of places opens up the depth of Nada, and there goes one member down for the side of EVOS. My, oh my, Aura now on the back foot, and there's going to be a Vin here getting locked for a bit, but Luminaire, he tries to actually run away, going on the opposite direction, but how long can they hold on?
They can't. They're going to be going down. This is going to be a clean wipe coming in for RRQ. That Winter Truncheon is just biding its time. They take out Lemon, but Lemon has done a great job locking them up. He survives because of the immortality as the rest of the team gets onto Lord. EVOS is forced to back away. Lemon, oh my goodness, RRQ just played the map perfectly, and they took a 50-50, and they won.
They won this pretty much cleanly in this sense, and EVOS Legends, they definitely got caught out in the worst time of it all. And speaking of getting catch here, Donkey needs to respect the distance, and now he's just trying to actually negate RRQ from claiming this for their own.
Yeah, and then nobody is going to get Lord this time round, and I think RRQ made some really good decisions there. They started a fight the moment they saw Lemon had a really good push. They saw bottom and mid pushing in very nicely, and that netted themselves a turret. Donkey is in a little bit of trouble here. Zas won't be able to bail him out, even with the Nightmare spawn. Immortality has been popped. Donkey is trying to turn this around, holding himself out with the shield. The true damage coming on through, just not enough. Aura against Lemon, it's a 1v1 of a lifetime, but it's not going to be fair the moment Liam shows up to the battlefield thanks to a rival.
Well, Aura have no more left to do, and that will be a mega kill for Vin. 5-1-11. Look at how cleanly this Vin as well as Secure has been playing the entirety of game one. And there was way too much money in the pockets here. And speaking of money here, RRQ making a run for the $250 million.
Yeah, and now Tuturu, slowly but surely, he will be able to take Lord with the rest of his team here. They're getting control. Valir is on the top side of the map as well as Lemon down in the bottom side. They are just making sure that they don't have any options for EVOS Legends to push on in. Can RRQ actually come out of this on top? It's looking really good for them. They've scaled so nicely.
I can't believe it. In game number one, we're breaking the 30-minute mark. And RRQ Kian is on a stalemate for the longest of time alongside with EVOS Legends, but now that they do have the help of the Lord, they're trying to commit fully towards the bottom lane. That's where the very final inhibitor will be standing right before their eyes, and they gotta find a way to actually take down that Zas, who's already camping in the middle of that crystal.
Yeah, and the Nightmare spawns are just so frustrating to deal with, but it's gonna go down really, really quickly. But the rest of the team is holding on. This is the fight that they've been waiting for. Lord is walking out through. The Nightmare spawn is not letting him go through. Newman there gets a good catch onto the backline. Finn takes a good chunk of damage there, but in the mid lane, Liam is taking too much. He goes down thanks to Gloom. They're trying to protect every side of the map. They are doing a really good job. Sin is in trouble. He's holding on with the shield. He's holding it on with as long as he possibly can. Luminaire is blocking everything. He's making sure, hey, team, we got the first initial pick-off. Now we're going to reset this all over again. We need to play our game.
Rek has been doing such a great work. Luminaire got that huge Luminon blast to find a way to take down Liam. 0-8-9, but we know Liam is just a tanky Mitchell just for them to actually set things up. Lemon now will lose off that buff to Donkey, but at this point, it doesn't even matter if you do have the buff.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just denial. You want, there's nothing, you want to deny EVOS Legends from getting it so they don't sustain into the lane a little bit longer. It's true. Tuturu, he might get caught out here. Donkey coming in with a wild charge, but again, he has the protection of Vin nearby him to kind of push the team away, deterring them because they don't know where Sin is, and I think that's the issue that EVOS Legends is having right now.
Well, EVOS Legends, of course, having an issue to actually get themselves out in the open because they need to find a way to defend, and this is definitely not a great signal for them yet, but RRQ has chased that immortality. A little bit of a switcheroo in terms of items, as we see Lem trying to actually find a way to stop Aura from pushing, and now a little bit of that sort of a push and pull between that jungle, but members of RRQ Kian are grouping up over top lane.
Yeah, the rest of the team is slowly peeling backwards into the jungle. They're struggling to keep control over it because of how RRQ is kind of playing this game. Oh, he gets a good pick on to Donkey. Donkey might be in a little bit of trouble, but the Nightmare Spawn is right on top of them, making sure that they're using the empowered version to get hits with that Hive clones. Liam is forced to be pulled back. EVOS Legends and RRQ are just wrestling for control over the jungle.
Well, RRQ now have the power in their hands, but it's really hard to actually juggle the waves properly, especially when you have Zash. Somebody needs to find a way to take down rank before they could actually go into close out a game. And look at them, just pause after process, just full item stack for every single one of all these players. So right now, gold doesn't matter anymore. They're going to break that 10K mark real soon for RRQ. Here comes wall charge onto its Liam, and there it goes. Well, Righteous halfway will keep himself safe and sound, regenerating some health back in order.
Yeah, and again, this stalemate is going to keep on going until somebody makes a mistake. And again, Donkey gets away the dragon, but there is not much follow-up. Donkey doesn't really care because he barely takes any damage from it anyway. He's going to use the Power Mage to kind of clear up that bot wave. The only issue EVOS Legends is having right now is the fact that they're down by 2 inhibitors, so they always have to deal with top and bottom kind of pushing into them, and especially mid lane where RRQ has the most control, it's getting pushed in constantly.
Yep, and then for RRQ, they know how to make sure that EVOS Legends gets themselves way too occupied. And now, this might just be the final lord, but I can't say too soon. There's so many lords that have already been taken down, and we really just gotta save our voice for a little bit. And even for the players themselves, they know there's a lot of risks that they might not need to take. And speaking of risk here,
Donkey's in trouble. He goes back in with a wild try. He whips. Oh no, this could be big with the arrival on the bottom side. This is a 4v3, and it's not looking too good. Aura is trying to turn this around. He's trying to kill Lemon, but it's not going to be enough. He's on his last health bar. He needs to turn this around with the third hit of Jacundo. Lemon, smooth as butter, takes him out with the help of his high loss. RRQ with that arrival alone is shutting down this Masha.
They lost Donkey. They lost one more.
Oh no! Oh no! Sin's in trouble. He's so low, but there is no follow-up for the rest of the team as Juan in the backline gets locked down by both Vin and Liam.
Liam now going in for that push, and Rek has been caught out. This might just be it. They have a minute wave, and Lemon is trying to spot out where the Lil is going. Luminaire's gonna hop right back, but they have all it takes to close things out. 1 versus 4. Can they do it? Nimble on blast to try to remove the minute, but they get pulled back. Lemon going in for a kick as well, and here comes Lemon soaking 1 big hit coming from the crystal. Now up to Donkey. The best tank in the world has to do his duty, and even the best may fall in that sort of sense. And RRQ looking to close out game 1 in this sort of a matchup, but there's still the minutes not reaching the plate. Here goes Aura.
The timing is just so poor. They just the minions, they completely block. They need to wait a little bit longer. This is gonna buy time for Lilia. Aura pushing the wave away. He needs to survive, but he's not. He goes down straight away. 2 more seconds until Lilia comes back up. It's not gonna be enough. This is it. RRQ take game 1.
It all started with a catch, and now the bait and switch. Donkey taken out, which means that they have so much room to just control this very final lord. And Rex Regum Keon now will take the very first point heading into this best of 7. So we still need 3 more points to go for Rex Regum Keon to take the title.
What's really unfortunate about EVOS' lineup is that the Sask was doing a great job zone controlling, getting that early game, but what it really came down to was that play coming in from RRQ. Hopefully we get to see it in the highlights, because they were keeping control over topside as well as trying to contest for Lord. And I think because of that, they pulled away pressure away from the team. They needed that Grok in that front line to kind of walk through all that flame walls coming out of Vid, if I'm correct, to really put some pressure with the Guardian's Barrier, and even disruption with the wild charge. It just really changed the dynamic, and they got punished because of that one small mistake.
Yeah, and they were so clean at RRQ, early games were a little bit messy for them, but heading in towards the mid game, we saw them really go in for some really sick setups, especially when they try to position themselves in those sort of choke points, especially on those river fights.
Yeah, and what's really unfortunate is that, once you lose that pressure, there's no real coming back into it. But let's have a look at the game stats here. RRQ with a very good victory, coming back from really, really far behind. Like, look at that damage from Zosk. Like, oh my goodness, he nearly did 200k worth of damage.
Wow, we didn't really expect how much damage that Zosk could do towards the early, all the way to the late game. But look at Hylos though, the least amount of damage, and of course, he could have done a little bit better if he does build a couple of damage output items, but his main function is just to distract every single one of all these members of EVOS Legends here.
Yeah.
It's just that sort of mid-shield to take every single hit, and once the members of EVOS are all worn out after getting that stamina all put on towards that running horse engine, well, they fought back, and Valir alongside with that Granger. Of course, these trusty duos have been able to actually shut down all these sort of players, especially whenever they get to catch onto Wrecked.
Exactly. They have great disengage options. They have great ways to kind of defend themselves against the aggression coming in from EVOS. Because the thing about EVOS is that they have to play around picks. They don't have a real way to engage onto RRQ, especially when you have someone like Valeris, especially when you have the Rondo from Granger who are difficult to catch out. You kind of have to bait them into a fight. And once you go for it, they go for the counter engage. And I think overall, what we can learn from this game is this. Both teams kind of are looking for the same thing. They played the map to hopefully open up opportunities to which they can net themselves a free fight. Early game, yes, EVOS was doing a great job. Later game, RRQ played that even better. Zas doesn't scale as well as we thought he would. MVP has to be this beautiful Gager, Tuturu. He nails it. He absolutely nails it.
Well, Tuturu, what can you say when you play a 30-minute matchup without even being taken down? And who knows if he can actually finish off another few games without a sort of death at all. He will be the first ever legend heading into any grand finals to not even drop a single time.
Yeah, and so far he's been doing a good job. Double Blade of Despair at the very end there with the Thunderbelt, just to, add a little spice to the mix. But overall, I think RRQ did a really good job. They kept their composure. They made some really good plays, and I think EVOS Legends were a little taken back by some of the decisions made by them. Hopefully it wasn't a miscommunication, but overall, solid game one. What do you expect for game two as we look at these highlights?
Well, let's have a look into the highlights brought to you by U Mobile. And Liam, of course, got bullied off way early on with this sort of flank coming in from the back. Well, Wreck, Luminaire, as well as One, was just having so much of that fun time, just taking out that top lane, as well as having another kill over on Cho. But Luminaire right here has been sandwiched between members of EVOS Legends.
Yeah, and I think overall, despite Zosk being picked in this particular matchup, I think he's only been picked like once before in the group stages. He did a pretty good job. He fulfills the role very nicely, and he has a lot of ways to kind of manipulate the wave for an example, Lord, he can distract him with a Nightmare spawn, buy some time there while he chunks him out. Other times, oh look, I use the Nightmare spawn, use my ultimate to empower him, and then drop down a large section, like here, with the Hive clones, just to kind of zone them away from the safety zone of the turret.
Yeah, and you can see that RRQ, they're ready to actually fight that sort of Nightmare spawn in that sort of sense. Every single time that they go into the fight, whenever it drops, they will make sure that clear it off as well. Masha really overextending in that sort of the sense, and this is where Sin actually took things to his own hands, with him just diving in to catch out One without any sort of follow-up yet from RRQ.
Yeah, it's just been a tough game overall, but both of these competitors playing at the top of their game. But this is only game one. There's so much more to get excited over, so stay tuned and hold on to your seats. And though this 30-minute game, it's like one of those things where it's like, hey, look, I have so many of my immortalities, let's make this work. And I think this was the push that we were all waiting for from the side of EVOS Legends to kind of end the game. However, I think they should have escorted the wave a little bit better there, and then look to maybe commit on one guy rather than say, hey, hey, let's split them up 2-2 and try to be efficient about this because they ended up getting punished at the very end of the day.
Yeah, and that kind of led to the downfall. This we saw catches after catches as well. Well, EVOS definitely could have done something a little bit more cleaner as they head in towards that crystal. But this is where Liam, time and time again, running out of those battles easily. But now, this is where EVOS slowly lose their grip because they did not find that position against the two. And even though it was all down to Aura, he went in for that flicker, he still could not catch him as he still has his rondo up.
Yeah, it's just, you know, a whole situation of going back and forth. I think RRQ at the end of the day played the macro a little bit better at the very end of the game. But overall, really for the longest period of time, for at least a good, 13 minutes, sorry, not even 13 minutes, 12 minutes of just full EVOS control. And I think that's so oppressive when they had a 4K goal lead for the longest time. Like, it's unbelievable how they were so close to taking this.
Well, now we're going down to our very final moment right here as we saw EVOS, of course, still holding on to it really strong. But of course, a little bit of that sort of misstep coming out as well. Donkey, of course, was going in and out of those fights. But here comes Lemon. Although he was really low, Aura was initially hunting him out as alongside with Lemon. But now, look at him. Just catching onto that Grok first and eventually finding the kill on towards Lilia. This was where things started to change. And as they slowly get that sort of tempo, there was Reg being surprised and caught out. And once they got Reg, they know this game is theirs to take.
Yeah. The moment they got more than, the initial 2 kills, like they traded 2 for 2, like, that's not enough. Like, we need a little bit more. They trade 2 for 4, 2 for 5. Okay, we've got this game in the bag. Again, RRQ making some better decisions.
Well, of course, we do hope that they make even more heading in towards the second game. Now, for the players, of course, they have taken a couple of minutes to actually think how to actually improve these. Zaz, that risk of a pig has set them one step behind of RRQ.
I think, personally, I feel like Zaz wasn't the issue. Well, maybe towards the later stages of the game, yes, it did become an issue when it doesn't scale as nice as you would like it to. Like, I wish that, it would pump out a little bit more DPS, but then it would become meta at that point. I think it's a really smart option that they decided to do. It's like, hey, both teams don't really have an engage option, therefore, we're just going to play the siege game a whole lot better. Oh, you think your turret is safe? I'm just going to drop the hive clones, make sure it's uninhabitable, have the nightmare spawn a little bit in front to take the damage, brunt of the damage. Even if I have one low minion, like, there are so many things that they could have done, and they did it, and it was effective. At the end of the day, RRQ dragged it long enough to allow the rest of the team to scale, and they just played faster rotations overall.
Yeah, and we see a lot of all these swift movements all across, and now, of course, we gotta take a little bit of that shot breather, but we do have something for those of you guys to actually check out. So don't go anywhere and check this out.
Dibuka, Ades, Chronomax mendapatkan double, cuma dapat triple. Dibanjati, tenang, nemes tapi di kena dah. Sepak tentang ketiga bagian mereka. Sekali lagi, Lock Insanity oleh Aura mencari yang seterusnya, tetapi EVOS dapat dibunuh oleh Wan sebentar tadi. Dia mencari Wan. Tiada Nexus dan Donkey menggunakan Lock Insanity dan mencari. Berjaya dari False Blood berikan kepada pasukan Soda. Nanas dikejar. Masuk ke depan. Sini bagian ku. Yeman sedang mencari. Gol line sebentar tadi. Moon mendapatkan 1 kill. Mencari yang kedua. Double kill pun. Shadow justru berjaya untuk mencari 2. Kita harus menang. Dan kau tak dapat
lawan. Pintos langit, itu pun segera damage. Sigmaker baru saja dibakar oleh lawan. Kendal kerani pula, cuba nak memampat, tetapi tidak mampu. RRQ tinggal kristal, dan RRQ boleh menamatkan di sini. Media.
And these are the ways that these Road to Champion videos just shows you so much heart, especially considering where these teams started from in the playoffs all the way till now. So just in case if you are tuning in for this grand finals, it is already commencing 1-0 in favor of RRQ. EVOS need to pick up the pace and maybe look to bring it to a 1-1 and make this a fun series.
Yeah, definitely going to be all pretty much fun, and well, they're definitely not treating it just like any other game. This is the time for payback because RRQ was taken down to a lower bracket of the series. Now facing off against EVOS, they came even more well prepared. Like, I love how they actually started off the draft because they forced out that sort of move to pick up that Granger as well as the Valor. And same goes to EVOS Legends right there. They wanted to have it so bad, and they got it, but it seems to me that they have some pocket picks that they really want to try out in the big stages here. That Zaz definitely was a great addition, but once the sieging was over, once they figured out how to actually rotate around a little bit better, Rex, Regum, Keon find themselves, of course, pushing, toiling their way against the rest of the likes of EVOS Legends and Donkey. Donkey, unfortunately, once he managed to get picked off by the rest of the members of RRQ, and once he does not have that immortality in hand, they know that they can bully him off and slowly go after the rest of the members of EVOS Legends.
Yeah, and I think what it really comes down to is EVOS Legends, what really made the composition start to crumble is the lack of mobility from their side. They're a very immobile composition. Zast, yeah, he can kind of, dance around for a good period of time, but he can't rotate, bot to mid super quickly. They need that split push with Masha going on, and Masha was getting shut down time and time again. Lilia, exact same thing. They're not exactly the most mobile composition, and none of them took a rival, so they couldn't really back each other up at that point in time. It's a 4-1 dedicated, but eventually towards the late game, that arrival from Liam, if I'm correct, on that high loss, absolutely just crushed the Masha in place and allowed them to kind of play the map a little bit more.
Yeah, and I like how they were also sending some of all these members onto his side lane to actually go into catch onto Aura, because Aura, there was a point in time he was causing too much pain for RRQ, especially when he joins the fight. So he could definitely put out so much of that sort of damage output as they try to run past everybody to get themselves that upper hand, to try to even catch Valir or even Tsuru. But Tsuru says, no, I'm not going to fall in the entirety of this whole matchup.
Yeah, he definitely kept his spacing really well overall. But coming into this game too, what do you think they're going to change up here? Because now EVOS is going to be on the blue side, with RRQ going to be on red. Are they going to change up their draft a little too much? I don't think the Zosk wasn't super devastating. It was extremely annoying, but it's something that RRQ have to really pay attention on, because if they had not lost that 50-50 towards that end and made some right decisions, I think they could have just ended the game straight off the bat.
Yeah, there was some point where they should have ended that game if they were a little bit more decisive in their way of taking that sort of approach. But looking towards the draft here, I don't think some of all these sort of picks coming from EVOS Legends is where they're banning, such as the Zaz. You don't really have to ban on the Zaz anyways, and maybe some of all these tanks, like that Hylos, might be removed because that was so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Same goes to the Masha as well, if there's going to be a little bit of that switcheroo in terms of banning.
That's true.
Other than that, I'm thinking that Lida might be appearing in this best of 7 series, somewhere in between. Maybe it might not be game number 2, but I feel like this is one pick that they should not really miss out on, especially how well she actually scales in towards the late game.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Harith overall has some better DPS over a longer period of time when he has the Salmon Force. But again, Lilia is so dependent on those on the Shadow Balls as well to allow Gloom to kind of eat it, explode, chain reaction, get a whole bunch of damage. Like, she has high burst with good setup, and that's why I think she's really good in these front-to-front compositions where they want to kind of, like, clap each each other into the face, like, you know, they have a slapping competition. They're not looking to try and go for the back door, back flanks, and I think that's where Sin kind of got the idea, like, hey, if I get to the back line, they're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and when we were watching that first match unfold, it really felt like a wrestling matchup where there was only one rule: to make your opponent submit. And you know, it's not going to be easy. And both sides, they were just wrestling around, just moving back and forth, and that was just, it doesn't seem like there was going to be an ending because they pushed it all the way to 32-minute mark.
Yeah.
By the time they were all pretty worn out, it's like somebody got to make a rash decision to see whether or not that risk is worth taking. And, well, Doctor says, hey, we should actually go in to actually steal the Lord away, but he was not being backed up by the rest of the team. He moved a little bit way too sooner than the rest, so it's really hard for them to actually catch up on time. And, well, a couple of all these fights, of course, slowly we saw RRQ, who were not really having a good time in that early game. We saw about how they just bullied off that high loss as well as the Cho over the top side. Eventually, they found their mojo. They found that sort of momentum, especially with those catches coming in. And they really turned it around, especially towards that top side of the river.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, now is, especially between two Indonesian teams where they kind of know exactly how they want to play the game, I feel like Xborg is a little bit of a bait. Do you agree? Because like, both teams could have picked it within their first rotations. Both teams were kind of like intimidating each other. Like, hey, do you want to take Xborg? Do you want to take, how about Xborg? Xborg's still on the table. And finally, when it came to the second rotation, where it's like, you know what? Let's eliminate Xborg for the side of EVOS Legends. We're not going to worry about it because now your composition might look, after you saw the first few picks, it looks pretty good once you add Xborg again, and then that's where he gets axed.
I was actually expected to be picked up by the likes of RRQ because it was being left out in phase 1. It was too hard to actually miss, but, well, we'll see whether game 2 that Xborg is going to come up online or not. Speaking of game 2 here, I think we're about ready to actually take ourselves into this game here, and, well, get in queue. Let's predict some of all these bans for this draft.
All right, let's go straight into the draft. You guys have been waiting so patiently for it. Thank you to everybody watching up on the stream, YouTube Gaming.
Well, of course, M1 is also brought to you by Moonton, as well as our legendary sponsors, U-Mobile. Well, we haven't really got ourselves in towards thinking about what they should be banning out, but they've already got it pretty much swiftly.
Yep.
And
Harith,
it's the same sort of bans.
Straight up, they're like, Harith, one more time. They lock it in without a single worry in the world. Looks like EVOS Legends gave over blue side to RRQ during that coin flip, but I don't know. I think they're going to play around the same thing. They're getting rid of the Valier. They're getting rid of the Kufra. Same bans coming in from RRQ. I think, you know, they have their priority picks, which they play a little too well and are a little too safe, like a marksman such as the Claude. So it's understandable. But this time, Xborg is going to be secured by EVOS Legends.
I just love it. Well, I really can't wait to see what they could possibly do with this. We know Xborg can easily go in for those sort of dives. And, well, by the time it hits late game, you get that immortality up. You can easily just pop that Firaga armor with Blast Insanity. And one more time, we're looking at that high loss pick falling in the hands of RRQ. And now, being paired along with the Kaja. What do you feel about the Kaja with this matchup?
I think it's a strong pick. I think overall Indonesia, they have a great way of playing Kaja. It's super oppressive once you get ahead. Secures tower dives like nobody's business. And now EVOS is kind of thinking like, do I want to lock in the Boxia this time to kind of deal with the high loss? But it could be a little tough. If they need an engagement option, you know, Boxia is not too bad, but they're going to secure the synergy with Kimmy, the Grant Kimmy combination coming into this game.
Yeah, I was also thinking about where Boxia does fit in. Well, it's just going to be two Titans of the Tank if they do pick it up to actually to be that sort of mid shield in that sort of sense, but instead Kimi will be that main DPS. Lilia being banned away, I was talking about priority on towards this mage, and now we won't be seeing her all too often from now onwards. Well, draft number 2, I mean, the second phase right here, it's just going to be moving things up a notch. So if they were to actually pick up a mage, what would it be for EVOS?
I think they should just ban out a marksman here and then lock in the marksman for themselves, because there's not a lot of options, and I think putting in the Hellcurt, or maybe even consider banning out the Hellcurt this time around for RRQ, because both of which are extremely powerful picks. I think it's going to be a tough decision regardless, but you got to deal with, it's kind of like pick your poison. Like, what do you want to deal with? A super annoying, getting rid of the split push. Oh, wow, look at that confidence. 4-0 for RRQ. All right, we're just going to have to wait and see. So instead, they're going to leave everything up on the table, and they're going to get rid of the Masha.
Well, I'm going to buy diamonds for him if it really is 4-0. To me, it's not so straightforward. But yeah, back to what you were saying. Well, Kimmy, right here. I think that late game Kimmy is going to be another issue as well. Like, once you already got themselves, that's a lead. It's great for sieging in first, but much later on, it's going to be tough. Akaido.
Yes, I love it. I love it, because again, if Hylos wants to like kind of run away or put down the Revitalize, it's like, oh, you want to sit in that zone? How about no? How about get out of here? Let me push you away with my disruption.
Yeah, you can actually lock down that Hylos and that sort of sense. But then again, there's still Kaja. You can also pull away the Akai, but of course, Akai could still go invulnerable in that sort of sense. Well, a lot of EVOS fans all being gathered at one corner. I love how his face is just straight.
He's like, confidence, Indonesia, EVOS, we got this. We got this. But now, coming into the last 6 seconds of the game, they need to lock in their 2 picks here. They need some form of a marksman. It's going to be the Granger one more time. But instead, Lemon, once again, playing on a choke. He did a pretty solid performance towards the later stages of the game, but he got hella punished in the early to mid-game phase.
Well, I'm looking at RRQ here. Yep, that early to late phase was definitely was tough. And we're looking at this Harif as well as Granger. Tsuturo again picking this one up. He was the MVP for great reasons, and now having to deal with Harif. So it's gonna tear EVOS Legends apart on which one should they prioritize on taking down first.
Yeah, and now coming in, last 8 seconds for EVOS Legends. They're going to be locking in the Chang'e, putting Kimmy into the marksman position. Because again, remember, nobody can really deal with her. They're going to create space, use the wall, siege them again. I think we know for a fact this is an early game composition coming in for EVOS. Chang'e scales decently well, but if the same conditions happen like the previous game where it drags out to about the 15-minute mark, it slowly goes into the favor of RRQ. They have much better scaling in their composition.
Yeah, and I would say that's definitely going to be that sort of advantage that they do have. But I'm looking at EVOS here. Will go double or nothing on those early approaches, especially when you have Meteor Shower as well as the Kimmy constantly being pushing and that sort of wave. So if they were to actually commit, you still have to actually match the way of that trade, because that's going to be a lot of all that DPS who could possibly melt out some of all this tickets of tanks, no matter what item that they do have in the early phase.
I agree, and I think at this point in time, we know for a fact mid lane is probably, well, I wouldn't say not for a fact, because again, you have Kimmy Grok, strong combination. The question is, how are they going to kind of play this out? Because they could put her in the side lane if they wanted to, but then again, don't you want your mage to kind of be in that position too? So I think based on where they assign their lanes in this upcoming matchup is determining where they're going to invade the map, because they have such strong early game. Their level 1 is hella good.
Oh yes, indeed. I would say that level 1 invade is going to set the tempo up, and who knows, they may be able to starve out their opponents in that sort of sense if they could manage a camp steal or 2.
Yeah, and I think the timing is so important. Like most people don't understand that the first 3 minutes of the game is extremely important. You miss out 2 waves, you're basically missing out a kill's worth of gold. And that's a lot to actually go around, especially since your objective is to get to level 4 as soon as possible to maybe look for a good fight. But I don't know. We've seen a lot of teams mess it up. Torak, previous game, 10 seconds gaming, they've done it successfully one time, and when they tried it again in the second, it messed up as well. So it's a fine line to cross.
Yeah, and it's really that sort of a 50-50 that sort of says, do you want to take it or leave it? Like, if it's really up in the open, so straightforward, without being that sort of a defense coming from your opposing side to actually secure that and possibly pull it back to their hands, then okay, you gotta just respect them if if they were already having that early sort of lead. But there are times that if you do have that opportunity to actually go in for that invade secure, then easily you could just get that early head start for your own team in that sort of sense. But yes, first 3 minutes is where we will see a little bit of that sort of a fight and contention. We always know EVOS as well, RRQ, they're not the kind of the team that says, hey, I'm gonna play passive until somebody comes and force me. And yep, a little bit of that did happen, but now we hear the roaring fans. It's time for us to slowly head into our second game.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how this plays out because again, RRQ, the momentum, once you win that first game, you've got that taste of blood, you've got that taste of revenge. They want to move on forward, making this a clean 2-0, just so that they will have, crush the spirits of EVOS Legends, put them in a tight pinch.
Yeah, and speaking of pitches, I could just pitch myself and could not believe my eyes on how amazing this crowd is so far. Now, we want to hear you guys scream if you can, whether it's from your home, if you're in the washroom, I don't care. Scream out for your team. Hashtag RRQ win or hashtag EVOS win. Now, you all recognize your heroes on board, and we'll be heading in towards our very second game of this series. So I'm really expecting that EVOS here, they're really looking to make sure that they go on the tie at the very least. And to do that, it will take a lot of effort to break down RRQ.
And you've waited long enough. We're going to provide it for you. It's going to be Game 2, RRQ versus EVOS Legends. Let the games begin. Oh, looks like they're moving as a 5-man unit towards the bottom side of the map. EVOS Legends going for an aggressive invade, but this is going to give RRQ enough information, as I'm pretty sure Liam has just spotted out at least 3 members down on bot side.
Well, of course, he's already getting chunks out. And
whoa!
It's a little too much. There it goes. First blood here secured, and EVOS Legends take the lead.
They walk up a little bit too far. Liam and Luminaire down on the bot side, but again, buffs have been taken away. Rekt is now turning around just to poke his nose into enemy territory, but Aura, he has to hold his ground a lot better. The buff has been stolen, but not without getting chucked out just a little bit, because Xborg is such an annoying hero.
Yeah, and he did respect that Xborg as well. We saw that Flicker being pulled out from Lemon. Of course, getting a little bit more distance in. Rekt is going to be able to secure that river grab. Well, Liam, of course, we talk about Hylos not reaching level 4. It's going to be really difficult for them. And Rekt is just applying more and more of this pressure. Might just be able to secure a great kill if he lands his level 4.
Yeah, and now, Akai, he's taking a little bit too much damage. I think Rekt is going to be able to put some hurt into that turret. Oh, he took Mage Slayer. That means they're looking to take these early objectives. Leo coming in with the arrival. Law and Order locks down Rekt. But I think they know exactly what they want to do. They want to break this bottom tier 1. Harith, as well as Kaja, is moving down to the bottom side of the map. Luminaire is just kind of sitting there, waiting for an opportunity, or better yet, giving information to EVOS Legends. A good clear by RRQ. The lane resets.
We can see great balance of the mid-ways coming from RRQ, like you said. And now Harris is going to be spotting out Luminaire. Just going to be dashing off and away. Well, here comes the Grok as well. One arrival being utilized by Liam early on in this full-out flicker on side of RRQ. Only one redemption, so, well, Sid is not going to give this one away. And there goes EVOS Legends starting off the very first turtle of the game.
And now they're going to rotate really quick. Oh no, the turtle's been stolen away by the Kaja, but she's going to die in response. Lemon is kind of in trouble. Glorious Pathway has been popped to kind of disengage from the team, but, not really utilized too well. Luckily, Lemon was able to shoot Poe over the wall. A little unfortunate that they lost it, but EVOS Legends is still in the lead, and they want to do a good response. They're going to steal away the buff and take away jungle from the bottom side of the map.
We're looking at EVOS here, getting one more picked off. 2-0, having slight lead. So we see Liam still hugging real tight. Well, there's a little bit more of that sort of a tempo going towards the top side. Secure danger! Oh, Aura!
Yeah, that's just a little unfortunate there. EVOS Legends, for RRQ, EVOS Legends, oh wait, Aura's in trouble. He's slugged by the Divine Jungler. He has to pull on back. The Fire Soak is going to pull it back in. The flames, the rage, he's got it. He needs to pick up his passive to get a little bit of health. Donkey, he wants to secure this kill. It goes down.
Double kill for Donkey, and now Liam, the next one to fall as we see Rack as well as one. Get this one underway. EVOS Legends here are making a huge statement here, 6-1.
Yeah, 6-1 already, 3 minutes into the game. Pushing into the 4th minute. They should be able to get top tier 1. Nope, not yet. Looks like Harith is there to turn it all around. Donkey is being kicked away, but the wall shot should allow him to get out of there. Oh, that's insanity. Ain't gonna be enough to get you out of this time, X-Borg. Even one can't save you with the meteor shower.
Yeah, what one was doing right there was great, but they lost out on Aura. Well, you have to really take one for the team in that sort of sense, but look at RRQ here. Losing a lot of all these goalies over onto its EVOS. Well, Donkeys is going to be balancing things out. It's going to be doing quite a number of damage towards Lemon.
Resurrecting soon.
Lemon, I'm just waiting to see how he's going to build out this Cho.
Yeah, I think so far the Cho is doing an overall okay job, but like these smaller mistakes have really started to affect their playstyle overall. They're losing a lot of pressure here and there. EVOS Legends is getting ahead, and again, remember, they're an early game composition with some great mid-game playing capability. They're going to try and take advantage of that, and if RRQ keep making these mistakes like this one, he's definitely dead here. Goodbye, Finn, you're going down, and now Liam is into the backline, the Destinata, they're trying to turn this around, but Juan, he's already using the meteor shower. Liam is taking a little too much damage. Donkey actually survives at the very end of the day. It's going to be a 1-0 trade. Finn get 2 for nothing for the side of EVOS Legends.
Aura, he came in to turn it around, and somehow some of all these members survive, especially for Donkey right here. Now, look at Sid. He might just go in for the steal while there is a split push coming in from the top side here from RRQ. Aura versus Sid, and he's going for the flag.
No, he doesn't steal it away. Oh boy, yes, they pick him off, and Sid is going to peel away. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the steal, but he got really, really close there. Whew, I'm sweating for EVOS Legends now.
Oh, this is definitely going to be real tough. RRQ giving them a surprise. Might just even get a heart attack from that because they did not see the rest of the members, and they don't have any clue where the Harith was camping out. Sliding from the back as well. Here comes Liam.
Oh,
Step on the wall. Beautiful Hurricane dance as well. The wobble combo with Peter Shower hitting him through.
That was just a firing range. That was literally a firing range. Just ready, steady, shoot. Oh my goodness. That's a brutal way to get executed under your turret. Well played to EVOS Legends. They're going to continue their onslaught for now, but we've seen this position in the previous game for RRQ. They held on to their guns and they were able to rotate a little bit faster. So this might be the exact same case. We just have to wait until 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I guess like we're definitely going to be heading towards a late game if we're going at this sort of tempo. But EVOS Legends is definitely doing a lot of great work actually catching out RRQ. But in terms of macro play, they haven't really all too much made themselves pretty much clear to take down the rest of the tier 2s. But they did open up the top side though. Here goes Aura. Here, trying to clear the wave. Couldn't really do much, and he will fall to the likes of Sid.
Yep, it's going to be a 3-man dive down on the bot side. And through just to kind of secure this, but they're going to trade tier 2s for tier 2s. Liam, same position. He's going to get Dome under turret. Vin is trying to turn this around. Luminaire is traded. It's a 1-for-1, but I think they should be able to pick up Vin here. Now that Juan is able to get in the fight. Oh, the meteor shower is going to be... Oh, he is able to get out with the lightning bombs. Vin survives.
Wow, pretty clean as a whistle, and you gotta say that RRQ looks a little bit more messy when they did commit towards the bomb side. Well, it was just trying to actually mirror that sort of movement over to the top, and well, they're getting a lot more advantage to that because EVOS find themselves that turtle finally being safe in their hands and still getting stolen away by RRQ.
Yes, I definitely agree there, but now EVOS Legends, I think they need to kind of keep control over the enemy jungle of RRQ and kind of starve them out every single time. RRQ, it's kind of on them to make the mistake because EVOS Legends, they're playing extremely safe. They're not forcing out anything too hard unless they know they can profit off the situation. So now RRQ, where is the play going to be? Vin, where is that divine judgment play that we're all waiting for?
Well, we've definitely been waiting for quite some long time, but well, we do expect a whole lot more coming from them, but here comes Donkey, already spotting out Sid, and he has to actually force his way through. Maximum charge on towards Liam. Liam is already used up that pathway, and now Akai secures that kill onto Hyla.
Oh, they go right over the wall as Juan is going to be A-okay. The Death Sonata doesn't actually kill Donkey. He's still alive. Sid might turn this around. Vecna is really, really low, but the backline is already dead, and now Sid is running for the bridges.
Oh, Luminade. I'm not too sure if he does have the Hurricane Dash back up, but that's going to be a great sort of go dash, but will be stopped here by Donkey, already getting a minute kill.
4 for nothing in favor of EVOS Legends. This is their reply to RRQ's game 1. That was a fluke. We are not going to make the same mistakes.
Well, no mistakes so far for Grok and Tong, to say the very least. Look at them go. They're already building out all these sort of tankiness items. Sinisteel already being finished off. Of course, a lot of all these ones already in the hands of that Tong. Well, Juan is definitely going to be looking forward to securing this title of Champions of M1.
Yeah, and now we're just going to have to see how RRQ kind of responds to this, because we haven't seen them in this position. It's been a while. We saw that in the previous upper bracket, and EVOS Legends, they don't let go of leads very easily, so RRQ really have to clutch it out in this next upcoming Lord fight.
Well, I'm not too sure how could Rex and Keon actually move forward without getting caught here. Well, look at Vin. Haven't really been all too effective 1-for-1. Every single time he moves forward, he gets caught out. So EVOS Legends, they know how to respond to this Kaja pick, and they prepared so well for it. Well, Liam now on the back foot, getting pinned down once again, but now Rex's pathway will be opened up, but that is too much coming from Juan.
Lemon goes down as well, and another one. Vin's in trouble. The lightning bombs ain't gonna save him. He quickly flickers on out of there to create enough distance. The 1,000-pounder doesn't actually land. Luminaire got really close to getting one more pick for his team, but even with the 2, it's gonna be enough for EVOS Legends to secure that Lord without any competition.
Well, speaking of competition, yep, there won't be any at all as Rachel Keon to occupy over a mid, and now EVOS Legends here looking to occupy and invade the inhibitor.
This is really, really scary because now EVOS is at 35k while RRQ is at 27k. That means EVOS Legends is a full item ahead of RRQ. That's a power spike. Their timings are really on point. They could have waited a little bit longer for the 11 minutes, but once again, they get another catch here. Unstoppable. Lemon and Sid go down, and once more, they cannot find any breathing room.
This could just be one of the best Tongers we've ever seen throughout the entirety of the tournament. Moon came to a close second if we really want to bring him up, but now it's our highlight reels coming in for EVOS Legends. If they can just shut down the rest of RRQ to call it a tie, there goes Invader Tower and Luminaire trying to actually go in for that sort of push, and Liam here will be actually changing things up as Couture gets one kill, monster kill for Donkey. Finn forcing it out, and EVOS here opening up the mid lane as well. Let's get to the top lane. This base will be bold.
They need to wait for top and bottom to kind of push in. They've all respawned here. So 4-3-4, and now Juan is in trouble. He has to bail out of there. Lemon won't let him go. That way the dragon ensures the kill. Sid is still alive. Rex needs to peel away. Finn is in trouble. He uses the lightning bombs to get on out of there. And now it's going to be a 1-for-2 trade, but they just lost all their inhibitor turrets. RRQ are in a lot of trouble. Oh, Rex, he's going to be going down. Yes, he does it. I thought Vin was not going to be able to pull him into range for Tuturu, but that divine judgment made it matter.
Unbelievable. We were talking about those sort of catches with divine judgment finally receiving, delivering what we've been asking for. But RRQ, of course, got a little bit of that room to catch on towards one. Overextension coming in, and that was the very first step, forcing them to actually retreat. And to be honest, we look at EVOS Legends, they've already got all that they wanted except for the base, and they should have left way sooner.
Yeah, that's true, and I think in these final fights, they need to get one more pick. Donkey's in a lot of trouble. Death Sonata might be coming out here. Looks like he's going to be A-okay. They're not going to commit too much to this. Oh, no. The Rhapsody one more time. The Blender is pushing back. Liam gets hit by the Hurricane Dance back into EVOS' second turret.
Then Donkey will never even move all too much muscle, having the Akai doing the duty. So Luminaire was in charge, but Lemon here. Oh, Luminaire with the setup.
they just set themselves up for defeat. RRQ got caught out, and now EVOS Legends will punish. Donkey probably going down, but he still has enough to survive. They're pulling back up. Aura is alive, and now they have a minion wave. They're just biding their time. Gutaru needs to make the best out of this situation as Juan will shut him down. He survives. He pops the shield, and now they're going to end the game with one more kill into Juan. Oh, they don't get him just yet, but that still doesn't change much.
The champions of FPL Indonesia will draw this one to 1-all.
Great game. This is now a series. This is now a true grand final series.
Wow, we look at the fans, they even got the brand new merch for EVOS Legends. Well, talking about dedication and support, EVOS Legends here definitely need all that they can get. And now, this was definitely a crushing defeat on the side of RRQ.
Yeah, it really was. The game was controlled, collected. They gave them a little bit of the bait to feel like they had hope, but in the end, EVOS Legends just dissected them slowly into the very end of the game. I think RRQ, they had a couple of good points and good turning points that they might have been able to capitalize on a little bit more, but at the end of the day, EVOS Legends was just right on top of them every single step of the way.
Can I just credit Luminary in this sort of game because there's so many beautiful hurricane dances.
It's ridiculous.
That's a surprise that they needed, and of course they brought in what you called out for the X work as well. I think that early game they were the ones who were in charge, the ones to actually control that first 3-minute mark in that sort of sense. Okay, so Kaja. We thought that that's the sort of pick for you to actually catch people on. Vin was completely silenced off.
Yeah, he just struggled to look for these opportunities to catch them off. Like X-Borg, for example, even if you divine judge him, the moment his armor breaks, he gets right on out of there, rolls away because he's invulnerable, and somehow it's not worth your time. Same thing, Akai, he pops that ultimate, that hurricane dance, and he's just pulling away this dude who's just knocking away your team. So it's really frustrating to deal with. But here are the end game stats here. Overall, great victory coming in from EVOS Legends, kind of boost their confidence. Juan, great job on Chang'e.
Well, I gotta say that Chang'e definitely dished out way too much that we did expect coming in towards this draft. 68k in total, but look at the goal. It was absolutely stunning to see EVOS Legends here extend that lead to 10k goal. And like you mentioned, they managed to purchase all these solid items to actually take on RRQ, which eventually got starved out in this sort of sense, and won here as the MVP, only falling once in this entirety of this fight.
Exactly. I felt like EVOS Legends should have been snowballing a lot harder than what we were witnessing here. A 13 minutes game, I thought by 9 minutes they will already be like 7 turrets ahead. They're just crushing their way through into RRQ. But I think RRQ, what's really commendable is that they understood what exactly EVOS Legends was trying to do. They saw the Mage Slayer on the side of EVOS Legends, especially when you put it on someone like Kimmy. It's a big signal they want to play for objectives here. And here he is, Juan, the man himself, who was able to kind of crush just the spirit of RRQ, but that's not going to put them down just yet.
Yeah, and the MVP of the match has got to be him. 919. Well, you gotta maybe just call in the cops to actually arrest this one. Well, of course, I'm being a little bit more cringy right here, my friend. Well, let's look into how they actually fared, because this Chang build was definitely great for them to actually move across without getting caught out in that sort of sense, where they actually have so much of that coverage coming from the Akai at the same time. And look at one, KDA of 7.6. This is definitely one of the highest as compared to some of all these other players that's been filled out on M1 World Championship. So this is why that he always plays really cleanly. He doesn't really go all too aggressive. Sometimes you see some Changers, they play at the front line. That's not how you really want to get yourself that sort of advantage. And Libre Shout every single time in towards those team fights to actually make good use of the outlet.
Yeah, I think overall, the Chang'e has been one of those devastating picks for a lot of these teams that, and especially against RRQ in particular, we've witnessed 2 games already, one from Toda and one from EVOS Legends. The moment you see Chang'e, RRQ is kind of in this position where it's either they can't really handle them, or Chang'e just gets so far ahead that it just puts such a huge economy deficit into RRQ's bank account.
Yeah, and speaking of bank accounts, they're going to get a whole lot more richer right after this series finish, but we're also looking at that trophy that they might be able to secure. Then looking at the early games here, a couple of catches being set up by the Grok Donkey here, absolutely crushing it. And there's so many of all these barriers that definitely were put up here to stop them. As we saw, Vin, they just get so many of all these members of EVOS stacked upon him.
Yeah, and EVOS, arguably, they are a very controlled team. They're not hyper-aggressive. They won't take 50-50s out of nowhere. They're very calculated in a lot of their moves. You can see that EVOS had a great rotation here. They knew they had played the numbers game, and they just locked into all the firing range. This is just dirty.
Yeah, then we talk about Wombo combos and Luminaire soaking it all too much and still walk away under that turret. Well, this is where Donkey also set up another dive, and they know they could just bully Finn time and time again, forcing him to at least flicker away. And if that meteor shower still connects, that will be him being done right through. Well, here comes RRQ. They try to go in for the flank. Sin immediately dashes with the Silent Force, and Reg still managed to back away just in time. But Finn, time and time again, when you really need the Kaias to show up, it's not really much to be seen here. He did actually get a couple of pulls, but out of all this sort of fight, it was way too much because EVOS have snowballed out of control.
Yeah, they really had. And, for the most part, 4K, RRQ knows how to deal with, a 4K lead, a 4K deficit in favor of EVOS Legends. But the moment it goes past that, like 7K, that's when it really just gets out of control.
Yeah, and I gotta say this, like EVOS definitely found that sort of a crack through the window, and they just open things up so much wide and open. But this is where Lemon here goes in for the flicker and cakes back that one right there. That was the very first death, and the only death that they managed to actually seal upon one right there. But it really don't mean too much, even though they did get a couple of all these pickups. They did not translate it to actually secure any sort of objectives because they were just way too far ahead. And Illuminate every single one of these fights was just going in with some great frog leaves towards the Turkey Nats.
Yeah, and I think it's just a really, really tough game overall for RRQ, especially with such a good lead from EVOS. I think they held on for very, very long, and I think if they survived this final push, they might have been able to even out the score. But at the end of the day, whoever has that lead, you need to maintain it. You need to make sure you minimize the windows for your opponent to look to punish.
Well, I gotta say that this is how it always works. If you make mistakes, you will get punished in that sort of sense. Now, we talk about the sort of rivalry between the two of them. Some fans couldn't even look each other in the eye because of this. Well, we got some of all these fans, of course, back in the chat. Try not to be all too violent against each other, if you guys may. But everything in sports, it's all about making sure that sportsmanship is still being intact and being fair to people who may not have the same ideals as yours in that sort of sense.
I mean, it's competition. I mean, if they want trash talk, be all about it, but respect each other once the results have been finalized. But coming into this game 3, so far it's pretty heated between both teams. Like, nobody wants to give each other an inch of ground. Do you think they're going to adapt the composition to make sure Chang'e doesn't go in for the side of EVOS Legends, because RRQ is really struggling to deal with it?
Remember game 1, it was also left out in the open as well. That Chang'e pick wasn't really being prioritized because they thought that, you could easily bring up the Lolita to actually negate a lot of that damage being done. But yet again, Chang'e, if you do have those layers of defense to actually protect her really well, then you can just forget about that and just ban it away. Now, time for us to check out even more videos as we'll slowly get into game 3.
I will become even stronger.
Hands up. Alright. Okay.
I'm not fat, just chubby.